Well, hello. It's Sunday afternoon here in the Irish countryside. Just decided to hop on and say hello. We'll see if some people join me here. I didn't announce this in advance. I was busy playing around with some new tech toys here. And so I thought I'd see how they work. I see we're starting to get a few people coming on. And hey, say hello and let me know where you're viewing from. I'd love to know. Yeah, we're having some beautiful spring weather here right now. We'll probably get some rain over the next couple of days, but it's been a rather balmy last couple of weeks. And I'll tell you, it's meant so much to be able to get out and wander around again. Our pandemic restrictions here have relaxed a bit. We're now able to travel throughout our county rather than just 5 kilometers from home. So my cousin and I have been taking advantage of the relaxed restrictions to be able to wander around and check out some sites. Of course, we don't have too many tourists here right now, so it's kind of nice to be able to visit some of these places without crowds, but by the same token, a lot of businesses, tourist businesses, are hoping that people will be able to travel to the country soon and we can get back to somewhat of a normal life. Hello, Linda. Where are you viewing from? Love to know. Yeah, so over the last 2 or 3 weeks, my cousin and I have gone to, let's see, we spent some time over in Loophead Peninsula in County Clare. We, 2 weeks ago, were at Cliffs of Moher and Donegal Castle in Doolin. And just last week, we went to a lovely little waterfall close to home that I've been to a few times before. I've posted some images from the waterfall, and this time we're going to see why it's called Bluebell Falls, because it's a waterfall that during bluebell season, while there isn't a whole lot of water running to it, there are bluebells all over the place. In fact, they're not in full bloom quite yet, and I'll probably be going back in the next week or so to see how that's going. It's really a beautiful place. Yeah. So you're from north of Pittsburgh, Linda, but your heart is in Michigan. Great. So say hello. Anybody else who's watching, let me know where you're watching from. Hi, Tammy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Now, look, if it looks like I'm not looking right at the camera, it's because I'm using a separate camera now. So it's a little tricky to be able to read things on the screen looking down and then look you in the eye, so to speak. So forgive me if that's a bit annoying. I hope you find the picture and the sound to be much better than previous broadcasts, though. It's really fun studying some of the new technologies. And Joy in Phoenix says there are no bluebells in Phoenix, Arizona right now. Tammy's also watching from Michigan. Great. So it's early morning for you. Thank you, Joy. I spent some time in Phoenix. I spent about a year in Phoenix back in 2005, roughly, pretty much just before I moved to Ireland. But there's Sharon watching from Torquay, Devon in the UK, and Sandra from North Florida, and Tammy, you enjoy my music? Well, you should enjoy the artist's music, but it's not mine. I'm just choosing it to go with some of the videos that I do. In any case, so I hope everybody's doing well. Our vaccination numbers are increasing here. I've had my first dose, and we'll get my second dose in a couple of weeks. And there's discussion that we'll be able to travel a bit more, possibly to other EU countries, as long as we've had both of the vaccines. Right now, there are many countries that are restricted from entering Ireland, or if they do come, they're forced to quarantine for 14 days in a hotel, and it's a rather expensive proposition, so it's difficult. Yeah, we have, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly, Ioana or Loana Chioni from Greece. Wonderful. That's someplace I'd really love to visit. Would very much enjoy that. Oh no, I'm conflicting with the Liverpool game. That sounds like bad news. So, and there's Maricel from Argentina. Thank you. Maricel is asking me where I'm from, so let me just answer that question. I'm originally from Alaska. I've lived a number of different places throughout the US and Mexico, and I settled in Ireland, the home of my grandparents and great-grandparents, 15 years ago, and I absolutely love it here. So, yeah. And Tatiana from Croatia. Wow, that's wonderful. That's another place I'd love to visit one day. Such a beautiful part of the world. Joy says she's been here to Ireland in 1995. Well, I'll tell you, Joy, things have changed a lot. Although the countryside is every bit as beautiful. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess I've got a reprieve here. Linda says with the Liverpool game, protesting has postponed the game. Well, I suppose that's good for us and not so good for the teams. Yeah. So, well, look, we've got a nice crowd here right now. What I want to do is I put together a short video. It's only about 2 minutes, and it just takes you around the waterfall. My cousin and I visited last week. It's a lovely little place. It's on private property, so it's not a place that's most people go to, and it is such a tranquil place. I mean, it's exactly the kind of place that I wish had an internet signal so I could just sit and do my work right there. But of course, some would say leave the computer, leave everything at home, and just enjoy the waterfall sounds. So I'm gonna turn on the video here, and we'll hope everything works okay. And I hope you enjoy this. There's no music to this, Tammy, but nature's music, birds and water. So let's see. Yeah, so I don't know about you, but I found that to be very relaxing. That was just great. Now, during the rainy season, that waterfall is huge. It's about 5 times as wide as you saw in the video, and in some cases, it's the basin there is actually flooded, so it's not easy to get into, but it sure is stunning. Yeah, let me go back. I wanted to say hello to a couple of people. Um, Celeste Thibodeau from Houma, Louisiana. Hello, Celeste. Very nice to have you with us. And I saw someone else here, Pierre. Pierre, I don't know where you're from, but I want to say hello to you as well. And yes, it is a wonderful sunny day here, or it was when I was at the waterfall. It's not sunny, it's a little overcast here at the moment, but definitely nice. Um, yeah, Mary, um, I don't know how else to describe the place as a little paradise. It really is. Of course, you may think differently at dusk when all the little gnats and midges come out, but certainly a wonderful spot and a very peaceful, tranquil place. It's just incredible. And what's special about that place for me is it's right near my great grandparents' former farm. And so my ancestors would have spent time there. And I can imagine my um, grandparents and uh, great uncles swimming around in the pool and enjoying the sunny summer days there. So it's really special that way. Oh, yeah. So great. Look, we're probably not going to be on here very long unless you have some questions you want me to answer. I don't have anything else to do. I wanted to get together some other videos of some of my other trips over the last couple of weeks, but it took a bit longer than I had hoped. So in any case, you got to see the waterfall here. Um, great. Well, look. Um, I just want to mention that we're going to be having some new stuff coming into my um, online shop here over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be bringing back the beautiful face masks. We have a new vendor that's able to produce them quickly and efficiently and with good quality. Plus, I'm going to be adding doormats. What better way to greet people to your home than to have an Irish doormat? And so you can keep an eye out for those kinds of things. Let's see. Vicky asks me, is it true that there aren't any snakes in Ireland? Well, there aren't any snake reptiles, but they're polynesian, and some of them are every bit as bad. But I guess that's true everywhere. Yeah, thankfully, no snakes here. I'm not a fan of snakes myself. Um, and Linda comments, possible walk where your ancestors have walked. Yes, yes. If you've ever been here and you have ancestors here, it's a very special feeling when you're walking on their former property or along paths or streets where they may have walked. It's really it's an indescribable feeling. It's very rooting and soul inspiring. I mean, it really does make it feel like home. Yeah. Deborah says she's looking forward to shopping for the doormats. Great. Yeah, yeah. They should be nice, and I think they'll add an extra special item that doesn't involve taking up wall space, because I know, a lot of people have their walls covered, so there's no room for prints, but we have other things for you. Does it snow in Ireland? Tammy asks. Yes, it does. The peaks, the mountain peaks that are up around 3,000 feet, 4,000 feet will always get snow during the wintertime. A lot of the lowland areas might get dustings of snow every couple of years. Every few years, we also tend to get, at least here in County Clare and farther north, we can get a fair amount of snow. Sometimes there'll be a big storm that comes in. 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe longer, maybe 5 years ago, we had a pretty good sized storm that left, a foot of snow on the ground, which is a bit unusual here, but it doesn't happen all the time. Now the northern counties like Donegal will tend to get a fair amount of snow because, of course, they're farther north. Yeah, so any other questions, any other comments anybody wants to make? Any suggestions? Always happy to hear your ideas. My cousin and I are always looking for places to go around the county here when we go out and explore each week. So if you have ideas of places you'd like to visit, you'd like me to visit and get some photos, we'll see what we can do. It's not always possible, but we'll certainly give it a try. Lorianne, thank you so much. She says she's falling in love with Ireland because of my photos. Well, there are a lot of great photographers here. And of course, the countryside here is always beautiful. And it's always changing too. I can go to some of the same places I visited years before, and yeah, it's just amazing. Let's see. Karen asks if I can go to Portumna. I've been to Portumna, spent quite a bit of time in the forest there, in the woodland, and I've got a lot of photographs of that area, Portumna Castle and the woodlands. It's a lovely, lovely place. That's in County Galway right now, so we're not able to travel to the next county yet, but I'd certainly love to go back. It's a wonderful woodland area to visit, and I'd like to do some drone photography in the area as permitted. Let's see, do I live in a small village or a larger area? Linda, I'm a country boy. I love the countryside. I live in a very small community, a little village outside of Ennis, Ireland. There are, I guess, about 900 people who live in this area. And yeah, that's the way I like it. I've lived in big cities. I've lived in Seattle and Los Angeles and Miami, and I much prefer the countryside. People in the countryside pull together. There's always someone to help if there's a problem. Very friendly folks, very community-oriented atmosphere. So the little village I live in, Kildysart, is a brilliant place. I absolutely, totally love it. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Lorianne says she loves photos of the old churches and cemeteries. Is that weird? No, it's not weird at all. In fact, I have a friend from Alaska who visits here frequently, and a lot of the time we spend out touring around. If we see a cemetery, we stop and we go in. And the reason for that is so many of the cemeteries have such interesting histories in the headstones. It's quite amazing. The cemeteries here tell a story. For instance, a lot of times if you're in a cemetery and you see an open space without any headstones, chances are that was a baby burial ground back in the old days when babies were babies that were stillborn or had not been baptized were buried anonymously in the middle of the night. It's a little sad. But a lot of headstones also, you see the big flat stones where there'll be a few lines about the person's life. You'll see some designs. It's all very fascinating. It's really interesting. So, so no, you're not weird. And if you were weird, I'd say good for you. Ah, video of my village. Well, I'll tell you what, there is a video. If you look in my Facebook page, you look for Kildysert Village, and you'll see a couple of videos that I've done over the years. Um, it's a lovely little place, lots of flowers, classic village, and it's a village that my ancestors frequented all the time. In fact, my grandmother's birth certificate, her birth was registered here in this village. Um, let's see. Are things expensive in Ireland? Well, yes. Um, I believe Ireland is one of the most expensive places to live in the European Union. Um, Things are different here. For instance, television. If you have a television in your home, you're required to have a TV license, and that costs about 120 euro a year, round numbers, 130 euros, maybe a little more. So that's one thing that's different, that costs extra money versus the States. Using a car, very expensive. You have to pay motor tax, which covers using the roads, and that is based on the size of engine in the car. I have a small car. It costs me about 100 euro every 3 months or so. That's about 125 US dollars. Fuel costs are very high. I laugh when my friends complain about high fuel costs in the States, because here, if you factored in all the taxes and fees, fuel costs are in the neighborhood of $5.50, $6 a gallon. So it's not inexpensive. And auto insurance is very expensive here as well. Surprised me, but yeah. Groceries, some groceries are inexpensive, some are more expensive. Rents tend to be dependent on whether or not you're living in a big city versus a village or out in the country. Rents in Dublin are extremely high. People will pay 2,000 to 3,000 euro a month for a one-bedroom apartment, so yeah, things can be expensive, things can be inexpensive, but yeah. Tammy says, I bet the grass is such a pretty green. Well, it is. It's perpetually green. In fact, when my friends have come over to visit, the first thing they comment on when they get off the plane is, it's so green here. My son, who lives in Mexico, has been here 3 or 4 times, and on his first visit, he just said, it's so green. It's so green. Now, keeping in mind, he lives in a desert, basically a desert area. But yeah, it can be pretty amazing. But along with the green, what happens starting springtime is we get a whole lot of flowers starting to come in. The daffodils start blooming. Most of them are bright yellow. You'll see snowdrops, white snowdrops. You'll see primroses growing in the countryside. And then come this time of the year, you'll see the bluebells starting to bloom. Yeah, it's really, really quite something. Linda says, well, that's why it's called the Emerald Isle, of course. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and it is. It's a gem of a place. Yeah, a lot of people comment to me that they just can't believe that people would leave such a beautiful place. But as was the case for my great-grandparents, my great-grandfather, he left just before the famine years in the mid-1800s, 1845 to 1850, because people didn't have any work, didn't have any food, and there were no real opportunities. And really, ever since then, like the county I live in, County Clare, has about half the population it had before the famine. So the population hasn't fully recovered even from those years, 150 years ago. some areas like Dublin, which is a big major business center, the population has increased, but overall the country still has much less population than it did back in the old days. My grandmother left on a ship code, it was called Queenstown at the time, down in County Cork in 1895, and a number of her sisters and a brother left as well. So, yeah, people mostly leave reluctantly. It's almost always an economic decision. There are jobs for them in other places, so they'll take advantage of that. Great. Tammy asks, do I have cups that people can buy? Yeah, they're mugs on my store at moodsofIreland.com, Tammy. There's a new batch that I just put together recently that have a lot of my flower photos and various sunrise photos. So just go to moodsofIreland.com and you'll be able to search for them there. Peggy joined us now from South Carolina. How are you doing, Peggy? Hope things are going well there. Lorianne says she's got to go, but she found it interesting. Thanks, Lorianne. Appreciate it. Great. So tell me, how's everything going there in the States? I hear varying stories about the pandemic situation. Some areas still have a lot of problems and things are opening up in other areas. Here in Ireland right now, Donegal has an outbreak of the coronavirus, so it's quite serious there. But other parts of the country, we're getting an average of 400 to 600 new cases a day. And but as more people get vaccinated, things are starting to simmer down a bit. Yeah. Hello, Joanne. There's Joanne popping on from the UK. Nice to see you. Yeah. Travel to Ireland? I don't see travel being an option for most people until later this year, possibly in the fall. However, you should know that most of the tourist businesses have been hit so hard, missing last tourist season and this season, that the landscape is going to change quite a bit that way. I would probably wait until the spring of 2022 before I booked a trip over, if you have that option. And of course, everything could change on a moment's notice. There is discussion that we all have to realize that if there's a serious uptick in the virus, if something happens, new variants come along, then we may end up having to go back into a restrictive situation again. And fingers crossed, we don't have to do that. Great. Hello, Vicky, visiting us from Kentucky and the Kentucky Derby weekend. Yeah. So here, Deborah's telling us that North Carolina is opening up. COVID-19 numbers are down and things are doing pretty well there. Lots of help wanted signs for people in the food service industry. Great. Thanks for that update. And Linda tells us that in Pennsylvania, wow, you can be in a crowd up to 500 people without wearing a mask. Wow. But inside public places, you have to wear them. Well, great. I'll tell you what, here, one area that's been so hardly hit. So if there's any way you can support Irish musicians, musicians have generally survived on doing gigs, busking in the street, concerts, things like that. And because of the pandemic, none of that has happened. So a lot of musicians are really finding it difficult right now. But things are getting better and we have to keep that in mind. Let's see. Peggy mentions that South Carolina is opened up, more jobs available, vaccines are done. Great. Well, that's good news. Yeah, here, what they're saying is with it 2 weeks after getting vaccinated, it's shorter for some vaccinations. It's 2 weeks with the Pfizer vaccination here. Vaccinated people can start getting together in each other's houses and visiting and that sort of thing. It's really been strange and difficult for a lot of the older generation here who've been accustomed to going to the pub for a pint or visiting grandkids and that sort of thing. It's really been hard, the isolation. But again, as I say, things are looking up. And as we get into the better weather, more people are coming out and able to go outside and, work in their gardens. So that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Vicky says things in Mississippi are close to being back to normal. Lots of people getting vaccinated. Good for you, Vicky. Congratulations on the vaccination. Yeah, I had a surprise call from my doctor one day telling me that his office had some extra doses from the day that they needed to use, and would I come in to get one? And I said absolutely, and jumped in my car and went right in. So and I'm in the age group, of course, that they're working on. So and Tammy says she got her second shot. Well, great. Well, good, folks. We've been going for a little over 30 minutes here, and I think we'll go ahead and sign off. And I just want to say thank you for all of your support. And it's been wonderful seeing all of your comments. Oh, one thing I did want to mention. Facebook has changed its algorithms again. As a result, they are not showing my posts to everyone who likes my page. Now, this has been a problem in the past with Facebook. Over the pandemic, they seem to relax their situation a bit, and a lot more people saw my posts. So if you want to be sure not to miss my posts, if you go to your Facebook page, or go to my Facebook page, and up where it says follow, click on that drop-down menu and select See First. And theoretically, that should cause Facebook to show you my posts first. Now, the other thing you can do, and I'm going to start concentrating on this a bit more, is you can sign up for my clan newsletter, which is a newsletter that I'm starting to do every week again. And I'm including a digest of my previous week's Facebook posts in case people miss them, and chances are you've missed some different posts. I'm really surprised how many people write to me, and they'll say in a post, "Oh, glad you're back. Where have you been?" And I've been posting every day for years now. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, sign up for my mailing list. It's let's see, where do I have that? You can sign up here at jamesatruett.com/subscribe, and that will get you on my mailing list. You'll receive some sample copies of my books, and you'll get a newsletter with a recap of different posts, and you'll hear about anything that's new in my store. Plus, you get a little discount in the store too when you're on the mailing list. So with that, I'm going to say Gormi Lamahagut, which means 100,000 thank yous or 1,000,000 thank yous. And you all have a good Sunday, okay? Oh, wait a minute. There's some comments that I missed. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people are commenting that they hadn't seen my posts for a while. So, yep, be sure to sign up for that mailing list. And look, have a great day, okay? We shall see you again soon. Bye now.